Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
There you are. What's up?
Me?
Yeah, you weren't there for a minute. That was my fault. That's on me.
Okay. Well, I'm back.
You're back.
But my throat is absolutely raw from that dry scoop of pre-workout.
Why are you dry scooping over there?
I do it. I do it every day, and then you guys made me laugh as it was going down. And it just felt like sandpaper all in my sinus. But we're here. We're here, dude.
I think that's how asbestos works.
Asbestos. I did it the bestest I could. I got a noisy dog right now. I'm on dog duty, so if you guys hear Draco, don't worry about that. But it is good to be back. I know there's some good topics going on. How about you guys? You excited to be back?
I'm great, man. It's been a good week. I got some family in town, hanging out with the boy. It's been good. Got a little extra work done today because I had a little extra childcare. We love that. Free childcare is juicy.
Yeah, he mowed the lawn too the other day, didn't
he? Dude, he is pressure washing out back also. He's doing it all.
Send him over to my crib next.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
He's fire.
He's for hire at least. He doesn't need much.
Through the fence.
Excuse me? What happened? What'd you say?
You put the mower through the fence?
No, I have a double door. I made sure to get 2 doors instead of 1 opening. I did 2. Open that bad boy up, drive right through.
Hell yeah. I'm glad.
I'm nice with it now. I'm good.
Sure you are.
But there's one next obstacle though. The level of the blades, as you know, on a mower, it's got like a housing and then your blades are underneath, and it's like probably 2 blades or 3 depending on the mower. It must be crooked because you go outside right now and there's just stripes on my lawn, not the good kind, not just the color stripes, like the uneven stripes, and it's bad.
You got a little angle to dangle.
Yeah, Trish can't catch a break.
Wait.
It's like, dude, we went to do her
No comment.
light, her vanity light in her bathroom, and I'm just punching holes in the wall. Can't find a stud. The stud finder's not working. Then I get the light up, and she's like, "Man, that light's a lot uglier than I thought it would be." I was like, "Do you want it or no?" She's like, "No, not really." And I took it off, and now we're getting another one. And there's just so many holes in her wall.
You patch them after the
fact.
fact.
I have a question for you.
Probably gonna do that. What's up?
When you took out the stud finder first, did you pass it over yourself and go beep?
That my dad used to do that all the time.
I do that every single time.
All the time.
How
Such
can you
a
not?
dad joke.
I respect it. I respect it.
Guys,
you're gonna make it.
Workout. I'm gonna make it, but I'm excited to be here. What do you say we jump into this bad boy?
What you got, Abe?
We got angry gamers this week, so as usual, let's roll that clip.
Roll the clip. See, you should have spit it out like that on the dry scoop. If you let it just slurp into the sinus, and that's got all sandpaper.
I'm sure you've experienced this before. If it's in a certain location you're in the process, it's going in your sinuses. It doesn't want to go out of your mouth. It's just like, where's the closest hole? Oh, this one's going straight to my brain. Let's go into that one.
I think that's why you're supposed to mix it with water or something.
Listen, I do it every day. I just don't have 2 knuckleheads making me laugh mid-scoop. What do we got? Who are they angry about this time?
Well, this one was predictable. And there's a certain someone here that's probably going to say, I told you so. But gamers this week are angry because there's a little game called Arena Breakout Infinite that launched this week into early access. Arena Breakout Infinite is an extraction shooter similar to the tune of Escape from Tarkov. And one of the big things they hyped up with the pre-release of the early access, and one of the big criticisms in their betas and other access to the game, was that there was a lot of pay-to-win features, which it was a mobile game at one point. It had mobile monetization features. They said, we're not going to do that. We're going to get rid of those. We're going to have VoIP. We're going to have all these features. The game launched, and one of the first things you can notice with your wallet and your credit card is you can buy in-game currency, known as Tone, I believe is how they pronounce it, which means that by swiping your credit card, you can buy all of the best armor, weapons, bullets, and things like that in the game. It literally gives you infinite access to the gear that's accessible in the game, coupled with the fact that also it appears as though they've made loot drops more scarce than they have previously, which means that the gameplay loop features you going into raids with gear, potentially losing it, and then not extracting with high value of gear, making it so that it almost feels like an inevitability that at some point you gotta swipe that credit card. It also did not release with VoIP, despite the fact that they did communicate that that would be the case. And here we are in the mess that we're in now. They did tweet out that they had a nice little friendly tweet here I'll bring up that says, it's been over 7 hours since we launched, so how's it been for you so far? Rated out of 10. Not a good decision to make this tweet. No. The feedback was quite bad. A lot of people really, it was just all ragging on them for their pay-to-win features that they put in the game. Also, I did notice on this tweet that somebody pointed out that in order to communicate in their global in-game chat, you have to buy it. You actually have to pay money to use their text-based chat feature.
Yeah, but why do you want to do global chat? Is there a reason?
I don't know, other than probably talk about politics or something, which is what those always devolve into. I don't know why you'd want it, but if you do want it, you do have to swipe your credit card for that too.
Okay. What you got, Markstrom? What do you think? Best game ever?
I don't know why anyone fights me on anything. I don't know how I get any pushback at this point. I am a mother trucking oracle. I know well in advance before the telltale signs. It is what it is, man. Like I don't want to be right all the time, Slum. It's a fucking burden, dude. It really is. And people hate it. But it's not my fault, man. It's not my fault. Robin Williams would definitely say so. We are in a plagued industry. It sucks. Extraction shooters suck. ABI is no different. We knew in advance that it was going to be filled with monetization. They did claim, like Abe said, that they were going to scale it back from their mobile version. The game is in a genre that is based on risk, reward, and they have placed into the game the ability to swipe your credit card to receive any and all currency and gear. Why would anyone play that game? You have to be a moron to play that game. There are times where games come out and I say, you know what? I'm not going to touch it. I don't agree, not my vibe. But if you're having fun, good for you. I'm really happy for you. Enjoy it. This is not one of those times. If you're playing ABI, you're a moron and you're part of the problem. What do you think, Slum?
I mean, it's a free market, and let's just say they're going to vote. The consumer votes. Mm-hmm. And does it seem like a lot of people are playing this game? Do we have numbers?
Yeah, we could probably Steam chart it. The thing is this genre.
Steam. You can't Steam chart it.
Oh, it's its own launcher.
You can't Steam chart it.
So you'll never know how dead it actually is, which is the Tarkov method, which is why I've said for 7 years, Tark will never come to Steam despite saying they would, because it will show you actually how dead the game is sometimes. Late in a White, there was a website. We've talked about this before. There's a website that told you the real number of people on the servers at that time. And we saw that number literally get into the 100s during a wipe. There's 120 people queuing in the morning on NA East. And that website doesn't exist anymore, by the way. Pretty sure the person got, pushed from a window who was running it. So very unlucky. There is no resource now to see how many people are in there, but I think that if they were on Steam from the beginning, they never would have made it, because the public perception would have been hands down, unequivocally, this game is dead. And it was.
And you can avoid the Steam reviews too, which
that
is
too
critical here.
Yep.
Sure. So does this game, does the developer have an infinite war chest to just delete money? Because I feel that if a developing company is making a game that only a certain amount of people buy and then people stop playing, they go out of business, right?
This is the fun part. Ready for this?
Yeah.
This is where they occlude the fact
Yeah.
that they are also partially responsible, or at least the funding parties are partially responsible for the other game that just released, Delta Force Hawk Ops, where it's an extraction game, and then there's a single player story mode, and then there's also a battlefield mode. And it's 3 games in one, and they include the parts of the game that nobody wanted in an extraction game or a battlefield game in both, which is these hero operators that have insane abilities like wall hacks for no reason. Nobody wanted that. It was the main complaint when it came to Battlefield 2042, which people hated and still don't play. And they thought it was a good idea to put it in. What we see happening here. Sorry, go ahead.
I will say, I don't think they do a good job hiding that it's not the same company. It is the exact same launcher to launch both of them, and it's literally the identical engine.
People online are fighting me about it, but it is the same engine, correct? It's the same. There are multiple shared assets between the games. They look alike, even down to like the weird like film grains that are on the screen for no reason that make it look like shit. But on top of that, they're the same launcher, man.
So,
and what they're doing, to your point, is they're like, how many different versions of this can we put out with the resources that we have, and then charge microtransactions in every single one of these games at the same time? And that's how they try to spread their dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think they are? Do you think they know that they just want to have one big open, a lot of purchases, and they get the microtransactions, but do you think they're even banking on long-term play and community?
Not
or you think they're
in
just like,
the
let's
slightest.
just have a smash opening and make a crap ton of money, and then we'll figure it out after that?
They're going to force the micros, and they're going to get to a point where they feel like they can be profitable, right? And they are going to squeeze whatever moron community is willing to play these. And at the same time, here's the real like depression of the industry.
Okay.
Content creators are down so fucking horrendously bad, not just for a good game to play, but specifically an extraction game, because Battlestate has, their fucking dick in their hand and a bottle of vodka in the other. They're not doing anything to make that game worth playing. And so there's so many gamers that are homeless when it comes to this genre. They are desperate for something good. And this is the same thing that we saw happen with MMOs. Like, so many came out and failed. It's a hard genre, similarly to extraction games. Like, these are difficult genres. However, they're extra difficult if you pay zero attention to what makes them good. You never double down on the things that are worthwhile. And you do the absolute bare minimum to tick the boxes to qualify as this kind of game, because it's the flavor of the month. And so these companies continue to give us dog shit. Unfortunately, content creators don't have anything else to play that play these genres. So when the new thing comes out, they're on it like white on rice, man. They're in there. And when their numbers go up, because everyone wants to see what's the deal, there are many significantly dishonest takes. And part of it is on purpose, and part of it is inadvertent, because they feel good when they're playing the game because they let their viewership dictate whether or not they're having fun, not whether or not the game is actually fun. And part of that is like, that's a trial and tribulation of the job. I can attest to it. I felt it firsthand. It happens. I get it. But that doesn't make it okay. And I really try to remove myself from, this is getting me views, to, is this a good game? Like, it's very important to be critical about that. And there are plenty of games that would get me more views that I refuse to play because I don't have fucking fun on them because they're garbage. And these are prime examples. My numbers would be insane on drops in my genre on 2 brand new titles. I ain't playing them, dude. I can't do it. They're dog shit. And I'm not going to sit there. And it's not fun to like watch someone sit there and actually like be critical of the game, which is another aspect of it. No one as a viewer wants you on a game where you're going to be honest and critical because you're not having fun because it's bad. And so, like, the only way to stream the new big thing and get the views and feel good about it is if you're saying, yeah, man, this game's cool. I'm having a really nice time. This is tight. Is that the case? No.
You're furthering people buying a shit game as well.
Yeah.
You are enabling the culture of zero standard gaming, playing something new every single week, shoveling microtransactions into it, and letting them turn and burn you. And that's it. And so these projects continue to exist, and the cycle happens over and over again. No pun intended. Smile.
They just want to be a shill, dude. That's what it is.
I don't think these developers even think about the implications of something like this, though, too, from the perspective of even if, letting people just buy their way to the best gear isn't bad enough. Like, when you do that, when you have players that don't want to swipe their credit card, you are creating, as we know with the US economy, inflation. You're creating in-game currency. You're flooding the market with in-game currency, which causes the prices of things to go up, which means that everything costs more. And in order to keep up, you have to keep swiping your credit card. It's good for them, but it's a terrible game experience, even outside of just, I can just swipe my credit card and I have the best stuff in the game. What's the point of even playing?
They 100% no. I would assume that developers have a good group of people, but the level-headed guys, like a lot of Markstrom's takes about what's good for the gamer, usually get outweighed by the people who are saying, yeah, but we can make more money this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there's people in these things. Like, I mean, Battle State might be a different case. There might not be one guy in there that's like, this would be good for the gamer. I don't think that exists over there. I'd like to think that a lot of these developers, there are guys in there that talk like that, but when money's involved and you can see it, you can literally see it. If we flip this switch, that number adds 2 more zeros to it. It's a no-brainer, but it just gets outweighed a lot. The level-headedness gets outweighed so much in business when it's the slow game. They'd rather have the quick return, and you sacrifice the longevity in a lot of situations.
Yep.
It's unfortunate.
100%, man.
It is what it is.
Happens everywhere, not just gaming, but
This genre is cursed, though.
This
cursed.
Everything I play is cursed,
What
man.
a
Let's be
good
honest.
genre too, though. Like this,
It is a good genre. It could be
a great
so
genre,
good,
and
it's so cursed.
It's so cornerable if you have any moral compass whatsoever and decide you want to create a game here. You can actually corner the market with something meaningful if you pay attention to what actually makes this genre good, and let that be the lens that you make all your decisions through. Run it through that lens. Does this increase the risk reward factor? Does this feel like, based on what you bring in versus what you can get out, does this feel like gambling? Is there like meaningful return on that gamble? Like, these are the things that drive people to play these games. Like, what is the success? There's so many things, right? And if all of that just went over your head,
what's the community saying? What are the commenters saying? Like, you could also look at those.
Yeah, unfortunately, we live in a world where everyone has a platform, and this has specifically undermined the genre because normal people don't go to the internet and literally like at the dev and tell them what they need to change. They either play the game or they don't. And so the absolutely most unhinged people who are chronically online and have some of the worst takes on the game and don't ever look at it from the perspective of, is this skill-based? Am I bad? They're never willing to admit any amount of responsibility towards that. So then they try and drive changes in the game that alleviate that responsibility from themselves, which, again, leaks into their day-to-day. It's cooked. And the number of devs that think that this is the feedback from their community, when in reality, it's just a super loud minority. It's a super loud minority who has nothing else to do. They don't stick to their guns. And this is the one thing that I give to Battle State. is that to an extent, they have ignored community sentiment, probably too much, to be fair. It's a little bit different in that regard, because if they actually paid any attention, that would have been nice. But yeah, I mean, if you can't figure out what makes this genre tick, either don't enter it, and if you do, email Twitch or twitch.markstromtv@gmail.com, and I am for hire. I will tell you exactly what you need to do to make your game good. I will make it actually idiot proof. You will succeed. I guarantee it. All right.
There we go. It is what it is, dude. Arena Breakout, probably in how long you think, give or take, month span?
Depends how much marketing money they're willing to pump into it and give creators to play the game.
Okay. All right.
Or pay Twitch to do drops, etc., etc., etc.
Sure. All right. We'll check back in on it. I don't feel good about it, but all right. What do we got next?
No, pissed off, Abe. What do we got next?
Stay pissed off, because I have a little bonus Angry Gamers for us.
Oh
This one made me laugh. So this is also a check-in. I know Slummy likes me to keep tabs. We're going back to Helldivers 2 for a second.
I played that game, dude.
So
got old real fast. Sorry.
Well, that's always been our one of our criticisms for the game, but they've been releasing a series of balance patches. So it's very odd to me, because it is a PvE game, right? And they keep nerfing the guns in the game and making it harder and harder for the players to combat either the bugs or the automatrons. Those are the two factions of enemies. And players are now so fed up with what they're doing that they are actually allowing the automatron faction to invade Super Earth. So how the game works, for those unfamiliar, over time, the enemy factions take over sections of, like, the galaxy, and get closer and closer to the actual planet of Super Earth. That's where the Helldivers are stationed. And the whole point of the game is you're in this galactic war, and you're combating these forces to make sure they don't get to Super Earth. The players are so pissed off at the game that they're actually letting the enemy win to invade Super Earth, because they're sick and tired of playing this bullshit.
That's so good.
Honestly, I love gamer collaboration, man. It's phenomenal. And like, it's funny because that's like the basis of this game, right? Is to work together to conquer XYZ, and they would pick a spot, and they would all have like this concerted push towards, you know what I'm saying? And so to do it the opposite way, in the unintended way, it puts a big smile on my face. This is nice.
So they're mad because they're making the game too easy?
The game
no, they're making it harder.
They're mad because, yes, they are making the game more difficult and more tedious to play without adding a ton more content, would be my guess, which is the real rough part. And on top of the absolute fumbling of the PlayStation account fiasco and all that, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they survived that miraculously.
Kind of.
And then they've just fumbled.
I saw those numbers. I wouldn't call that a comparative survival, but
I guess that's true. Yeah. Well, they were still alive. They're slowly dying a horrible death now at this point. But I thought that one was
terminal,
funny,
bro.
It's just I don't understand how a game like this could live long in the first place.
I mean, they could have just continued to add shit to it.
But
they could have live serviced it, add content, right? And
it's the same thing though. It's just, you go to a planet, you shoot a bug. It's the same thing.
I understand
no story, there's no.
They could have gotten deeper with it.
Yeah, I guess.
I could have made it fun.
I think this is another just let's get the bag. Let's make a game that people are going to buy, play more than the 2 hours so they can't return. Oh, it's not on Steam anyway, right?
It was on Steam.
Play
it's
longer
definitely
than the return window, and then we cash the bag.
Yeah, I mean, the game itself is definitely a risk aversion play. Helldivers, right, it had a predecessor. It's it has this like cult like following to begin with. People knew what it was. They were excited for it. It almost couldn't fail. And honestly, like, I don't think if the game had no IP behind it and not like the quirky comedy, which I personally find incredibly cringe, behind it, that has this cult like following, it had no chance. Like, no one would have cared. And so, it's just one of those things where it's like, can we take an IP that people have love for and exploit that fandom for a quick grab. Happens all the time, man. And like, which is unfortunate because if you actually play the long game and combine that with a IP that people love, you are cooking.
Yep.
You are cooking.
I like cooking.
But man, oh, you got to do your cooking by the book, though. That's
right.
key.
So I mean, this might be it for Helldivers. We don't even know what happens when Super Earth gets taken over.
Yeah,
They could be dead.
This is interesting. I'm going to keep tabs on this one.
I want to know.
I want to know what happens when Super Earth gets invaded. I really do.
The servers go down forever and they don't have to support it anymore. Oh, that's crazy,
so
You guys failed as a community. We're not paying for this shit anymore. What they're gonna say.
Oh my god.
You thought you owned this game?
Players.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's check back in. Super Earth, rest in peace. What do we got next?
All right, so this one, I want to set this up a little bit. This is actually also given to me by a community member, this video, Growl, who's probably here right now, so shout out to Growl. But have you guys heard of Dave Ramsey? He's a financial advisor. He's very debt adverse, and he has a show, the Ramsey Show.
Yep.
And on that show, they had a man who came on and confessed that he had amassed a large amount of credit card debt. And when he broke down where it came from, it was actually $50,000 in debt across multiple cards that came from Twitch gifted subscriptions. So he got so addicted to the thrill of having people get hyped up in chat after he would drop 100 gifted that he kept doing it to the point where he maxed a card, maxed another card, and now has put his family into a debt. And I have some of the audio from it. If you want to listen to that, we can. All right. I will focus in on when they're talking to him about this kind of addiction that he's got. And we'll turn the volume down.
So I used to play video games a lot. I'm actually in the military, so I used to play video games as a way to kind of cope. And basically, I got into streaming and watching other streamers play video gaming, and kind of help pass the time, and especially when I'm at work. And I kind of got into the whole gifting subscriptions. Couldn't really control it. I can say I've never been addicted to anything ever in my life, but
you
this
can't.
has got to be the closest thing.
Yeah, you can't.
Well, you're right. I can't say that. Yeah, I guess
The definition of addiction is a pattern of behavior that continues after the person knows that it is hurting me, and I continue to do it anyway. Can I tell you, Alex?
Understood.
And this is me just being straight up with you. I don't know if I fully believe you. What else were you spending? $50,000.
Can we pause for a second?
I only see that in
Fuck this guy, dude. What do you mean you don't believe him?
I don't think he believes that that's only where the 50,000 came from.
That means he's just not in tune with the culture, because I guarantee that's where it came from, dude. I hate when people are supposed to be helping, right? And they sit on these desks and like they're supposed to be providing a service. This guy has not an ounce of compassion in him and has the fucking nerve to suggest he doesn't believe him only because he's ignorant towards what gifting subs on Twitch actually is, man. Mm-hmm. That is crazy.
It started when he said, "I don't believe you." Or
That's
I don't believe you. He said, "No, you can't." When he said he was addicted. No, you can't. Yep. He was grandstanding on this guy from the first 10 seconds of this video.
That is so frustrating, man. What a shitter.
Ramsey's also, I mean, he could give good advice sometimes, but I've seen some stupid takes from this guy.
I've seen him say some really dumb shit to people.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's overly debt adverse to the point. I don't need to get into the financial logic of it. I could, but.
Well, I mean, to put it very plainly, because just, from someone who knows less than Abe when it comes to financials, his main thing is you should pay off your house at all costs. But the reality of the situation, versus put your money in a place where it will grow, right? Mm-hmm. But at no point does he ever suggest or ask somebody what their interest rate is on their mortgage, right, and then compare that to, what potential earnings would be in a different account. He's literally losing people money in a lot of circumstances by working his steps. It's not financially prudent, but it's I get the idea of the stress relief of not having a mortgage. I get it. But he is not upfront with it being potentially not the best option for people. And I think that's where a lot of people criticize him. And then, like some said, he does say some really dumb shit. And you're like, there's no way he's treating this person like this. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen weird shit like this happen on this show, but that is just like, this one particularly, you know, grinds my gears.
And we,
Well,
Growl,
it
we
is a
know
lack
this
of
isn't
understanding.
Ramsey. Ramsey's the guy on that book cover back there. He's the
Yeah, the
bald
old guy. Yeah.
I get. We understand, but you have the same type of people on the show. It's kind of BS. But let's keep this going. Is there more?
There's a little bit more. I mean, what it comes down to, I can summarize it because there's
Yeah.
a lot of grandstanding.
Sure.
What do they tell him to do though?
Well, I mean, they talk about eliminating debt and getting this kind of habit out of his life, which is in this case, it is a good suggestion, right?
Yeah.
You should not be amassing this kind of debt.
But does he tell his story? Like, does he go into? I started with like 10 gifted. I did. Or
yeah, it was
does-
100 gifted, and the reaction he got, and that's what got him addicted. And he does a family. He had to come out to his family and explain where this debt came from. Very
Horrifying,
terrible
man.
situation. And I part of the reason I wanted to bring it up, and I thought this would be a good topic for you guys and Mark especially, is that I know how much you appreciate support on the stream, right? And that's what keeps everything going. The community's awesome, right? They do a great job of supporting the stream. I think this is a good reminder sometimes that supporting the stream is great, but do it within your means. Don't harm yourself for the community.
Yep. We talk about it all the time too. It's like, you know, there's a reason why everything is always so spread out. Like, people ask me to do certain events more often. I get asked to do charity events like super often, but I know that the community just goes in on the things that I care about and want to do. And like, I think you have to be reasonable about, you know, the amount of disposable income in the world, especially currently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's as low as it's been in quite some time. And, you know, you can't like run events all the time. I see people do subathons every other month. I see merch drops every other month. I see charity streams every other month, all by the same people. And it's like, I think it is the responsibility of the broadcaster to at least be cognizant of what you're doing, when you're doing it, and like who you're asking it of. You know what I mean? If you don't have the support to do and then on top of that, streamers as a result are in a pretty tight spot. I see a lot of my fellow broadcasters in a pretty tight spot. And I see a lot returning to normal jobs lately within the last like 2 years. And I appreciate those people because they are the ones who aren't putting those like financial pressures on their community versus the person who like literally makes, you know, a sub goal, puts it on or a dono goal, puts it on stream and says like mortgage on it. I've seen it a ton, dude, or rent. And it's like, it is your job as a broadcaster to be responsible with your finances and to be able to pay your bills. It's one thing to make it extra towards something specific for the broadcast that in turn benefits the viewer. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's like, I'm not gonna crucify the person who writes like new gaming chair or some shit or new keyboard on there, right? Like, I wouldn't do it, but I don't think that's incredibly egregious. There's way worse. And yeah, man, it's like, you still have to be a responsible adult. You can't put like the pressures of your bills on your community. That's fucked. It has to be, you have to be taking care of that any other way that you can. And I don't know, man. It's a difficult thing, dude.
I think it's a good shout out to you though, the community you built, because I do think, you know, that's something that I hope people can listen to and understand that, like, you know, this is a primary income driver for you, you know, getting people to get subs and donate and do these different things. However, the community has never been tasked with things to push and pressure in a way that makes them harm themselves in some way, right? I mean, this community that you built cares about each other. They look out for each other, and they wouldn't pressure people to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
and that's a testament to what you built, because this is a scary situation. I don't think like this is a scary situation. Listening to this and listening to what this guy went through, that's not cool. And it's very good that you're adverse to that kind of stuff. And I think that's why you have the community you do.
Well, there's been times where like people will go nuts, and then I had like full transparency. I've reached out like after the fact, and I just say like, hey, I really appreciate that. That was like crazy above and beyond. Just a reminder, like, please don't go beyond your means. I've sent that message a lot, and I think it's important too. I don't know, like a little check-in, especially on someone that you don't know what their situation is like. I think it's, I don't know, it's the right, by my own barometer, that's the right play. Because I don't, like, that's the last thing that I want. You know what I mean? And then I also don't want people who only tune in when they're getting the praise of financial compensation. You know what I mean? Because then there's like this whole weird dynamic. And like, that's what this guy gets off on, the guy on the Dave Ramsey show, is he like, he's addicted to the response.
Yep.
But that's not the viewer that I want, because often, and I've banned these people in the past, they want to dictate the stream, right? It's like they want to be part of the show. They think because they are flexing with the credit card that now they control the content, et cetera, right? And it becomes a distraction at the expense of every other viewer there, and that's not okay either. So yeah, I think these are things that, like, if you're gonna do this for a really long amount of time, you just have to keep in mind. So
I agree, and I think the last thing is that this guy, when he gets addicted to that feeling, or if people in chat are incentivizing that feeling, not incentivizing, they're encouraging that feeling. So someone goes crazy and gifts a bunch, then the chat makes it like a big thing constantly. And then it's almost like that guy comes in and the chat's like, yo, he's here. We're about to get another hype train or something like that. And now this guy's like, he either keeps gifting or he doesn't want to come to the chat because he knows like they're going to expect me to do something and I can't afford it.
Seen it before, and I've yelled at people for that in the past. And it's like, because we've had people do crazy things for subathons or for charities, and then they can't even show their face. The weird, and this is something that definitely again grinds my gears. We had a subathon in the past. It was for charity, and it was, you know, like donations, not subs, but it was for charity. And we need to keep the, you know, it was one of the ones where the donations would keep the timer live, right? And the timer was getting low, and there would be messages in the chat like, oh no, hopefully blah 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 shows up, hopefully blah. And this dude can't even come out of the woodworks and say hi in the chat without being expected to keep. That's not okay. And it's always, and like, I understand wanting the stream to be online. I get it. Like, you want the stream to keep going, but to target somebody or single out the person who is already responsible for it lasting that long because they've been incredibly generous is like a really shitty thing to do. And, you know, that kind of like social couth doesn't exist for everybody. And when it doesn't, I have to let you know, you know?
I agree.
I think that, like I said, I think that's why this community is built on something great, because stuff like that and being cognizant of it. So not really, you know, I know you didn't expect probably a shout out to you, but shout out to you for the way you run things. It's very admirable in my opinion. So this is a good topic for this.
Appreciate it. I love what I do, and I want to be able to do it as long as possible. And I think these are the things that you have to do to keep her going.
Keep her going.
What else we got, Abe?
Speaking of keeping her going, what else
we'll get a little bit later here. This is a quick hitter. I think it was about a month ago, we talked about some Microsoft layoffs and some studios that fell by the wayside as a result of it. One of them was Tango Gameworks. They're responsible for titles like Hi-Fi Rush and The Evil Within are their two big ones. They got picked back up. Crafton Inc., which you'll know them by their popular title PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. They did pick up the studio, and they also bought the IP for Hi-Fi Rush, which probably means you're getting a Hi-Fi Rush 2 sometime in the future. Hi-Fi Rush was like a cartoony beat-based action
RPG.
game, RPG. Very, very well received. So people are really psyched about this. People were very upset that Hi-Fi Rush kind of fell victim to the Microsoft layoffs. So a positive story, a gaming studio that's done some pretty good stuff coming back and getting a chance to keep making games.
I will say, I always thought Hi-Fi Rush was a bit of a, I won't say a rip, but it was definitely game adjacent to one of our good friends who made a game once upon a time called the Metronomicon. Very similar. But yeah, this genre is definitely unique. It's definitely a niche genre. But I will say it's nice to see that game studio do something for these teams. They definitely have from what I've seen, they definitely have the budget to be able to do that. So rather than see them close down shop like so many people have done over the last couple of years, this is nice.
Is this like is this Hi-Fi Rush game like a cult game, like a cult follower game?
Yeah, I would say
I've never even heard of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it's very popular in its community. It's something different, but it was very successful, and that's why people were pretty pissed when they got canned.
Yeah.
Another one bites the dust. That's
shout out Crafton. No, saved.
Yeah, they're saved now. We saved them.
But the Hi-Fi Rush that's the game, right? Or is that the development team?
The development team is Tango Gameworks. They were picked up by Crafton, and Crafton also bought the IP for Hi-Fi.
Okay, understood. Yeah. Okay, good for them.
Yep.
Good for them.
Big dub.
Big dub.
Evil Within, though, hated that game. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't like that game either, but
didn't like it. That's all right.
I've never heard of either of those games. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Never heard of Hi-Fi Rush. Never heard of Evil Within. I can't even comment on them, but I'm glad they're not laid off.
One of the first 24-hour streams I ever did, we tried the Evil Within, like during the nighttime segment. It was like the most frustrated, like angry Markstrom 2 hours you've ever seen in your life, dude. And Nooch just trolling me about it in chat the whole time. It is what it is. I'll never forget. I think I accidentally played it beyond the time window, which is probably why I'm still salty. Unlucky.
What a great game, dude. Let's bring it back.
Oh, man.
What else we got? I see. What else we got right here?
Yeah, so this is a nice little cross. It's also something once again we've talked about previously, and I think we predicted this one too. The Borderlands movie came out recently, so it's based off the Borderlands franchise of games. And it did horribly. It's got a 9% on the tomato meter, 52% audience score, and a lot of the criticism comes from the just terrible casting that they did. In addition to the fact that they didn't match really that comedic style that's present in the games, as well as like the plot was terrible and it was all over the place. So this was just an all-out stinker, which is a trend with these video game movies, I will say. Other than the Super Mario movie, pretty much all the video game movies have done very poorly with critics and not lived up to expectations. But, they made some really weird casting decisions. I would say putting Kevin Hart in the role of Roland. Roland is like a quiet, big, strong soldier, and they got the smallest, loudest person they possibly could to fill the role. That kind of stuff didn't help them, and this thing's a flop.
Well, first off, the Rotten Tomatoes score, I'm not too concerned with. That score is so fake. I'm very surprised at it though, because I'd figure since Kevin Hart was in it, the Rotten Tomatoes score would be like 99. But the audience score, 52%. I think that's accurate. The movie probably sucked, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it yet, but I'm probably not gonna see it.
No,
it didn't look good.
No, I was this was the prediction. Unlucky. I mean, again, like that's like saying the sun will rise tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's the odds are good, man. Video game movies never do well.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near outside of like the Mario movie.
Super Mario and Angry Birds did pretty. The kids versions. Of
I liked Angry Birds.
Do well.
I didn't see it. Was it nice?
Angry Birds, yeah.
Didn't play Angry Birds either, for clarity. But
this is so. I kind of am conflicted with Kevin Hart. I think now I mean, I'm not mad at him for just getting the bag. Like, he's literally getting every bag he can.
Every single actor shoots a shot at him for it, dude. It's pretty funny.
Like, dude, he's in everything. So now, like, the meme is like, Kevin Hart's in it. Probably took a lot. He probably got a lot of money, and the movie probably sucks.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate because his stand-up back in the day was phenomenal. People still like his stand-up now. I liked his older stuff better. His movie, like in 40-Year-Old Virgin, when he was in the whatever Smart Tech,
so good,
and he's in there shopping, like that's Kevin Hart. That stuff is so good. And now it's almost like he's gotten so into that role, and it's expected of him, and it's almost just like that's all he's playing. And I don't know. I
said this the other day. Kevin Hart all of a sudden only plays Kevin Hart in movies. He doesn't play a character or a part. They just cast him to be Kevin Hart, and that's not a good fit for a lot of movies.
No, like, by casting Kevin Hart is a form of risk aversion for movies. And he has, like a lot of things, made himself likable by the biggest number of people possible, which definitely alienates what made him good to begin with. 100%, just like everything else. And I get it, which is also why he just says yes to everything. They write a role for him and he's in. I get it, but yeah, I do think a lot of this kind of stems from the fact that he has this like kind of world domination perspective on life, right? He is always like trying to, I think he's addicted to like doing more, being bigger, right? That's okay. I mean, that's his drive. That's his thing. Like, but yeah, I think the quality of his artistic pursuits has decreased significantly as a result. So is what it is.
It's a shame. It could have been. It could have been so special.
I will say, shout out Kevin Hart, because he does understand, or at least he listens to someone who understands modern day kids culture. His time on Kai Cenat's stream, both times he was on it, including the time with Drewski, some of the funniest shit I've seen in a very long time. They were themselves. He knew that he didn't have to, like, it was going to get seen by a certain audience, and he could just do his thing. Very funny, like all off the top. What makes him good? You know what I mean? And Drewski is a phenomenal supporting character in that sense. He is a menace of all menaces. It's so good, bro.
When Kevin Hart was talking to one of the guys, and one of the guys is like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get an actor. I'm trying to be an actor. I'm trying to get out these streets." So I could see it happen. Drewski's. He's like, "Man, rich people love to say super shit like that, man." And then Kevin Hart just starts dying, dude. It's so good.
Yeah. So, he's asking for help. Help the man. Don't say some shit like that. I could see it happen.
You gotta want to just pass on a part one of these times, Kevin. Let this guy get it. Jesus Christ.
Put him in some shit. Yeah, it's so good, man. Yeah, I mean, so like, I appreciate. I think like doing things like that. Celebrities who connect with that audience and do things like that definitely help mainstream live streaming. Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's obviously very mutually beneficial. I don't think anyone, like I was talking to someone about it, I don't think anyone gets paid for that situation. I think they're both giga winning on that crossover.
I was at the gym talking to a guy. I was like, who got paid?
I don't think either did. I think it's just one of those things where Kevin Hart guarantees recognition and appreciation from a very young audience, like that are going to continue to grow up and consume his shit. He just, you know, I think it's very, very smart, right? And obviously Kai has just absolute banger streams from it. He knows it's going to be good content. He knows tons of people are going to tune in.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kai got a certain percentage of like Fabletics sales for like that day or something. I don't know how they would track that, but
Interesting.
they were wearing like the Fabletics
Yeah.
jumpers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And Kevin Hart's getting to the bag, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep.
Get into the bag. Shout out Kevin Hart, but man, the movies you're in, dude. Come on, you gotta figure it out. Gotta figure it out,
Well, I
dude.
think what we're saying too is Kevin Hart. We'd love to have you on the pod.
Yeah, we're
We know
saying that
you're
for sure.
listening.
Yeah, he's gonna come through next week. But also Rotten Tomatoes is a joke, bro.
Yeah,
They're absolutely a joke. They're
the tomato meter is a
yeah,
sham.
and then but that makes me question the audience score. Like, how do they figure that out?
It's rated
I
on the
think-
website.
I think it's just verified users that make ratings themselves.
Yeah, I hear you.
It could, but I've seen some movies that like the industry doesn't want to promote, so it gets a Rotten Tomato score of 0, and then the audience scores like
Mhm.
almost 100. So
Right.
then I'm like, oh, maybe it is real.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. From what I've heard, there were a couple of people who saw it in the community. Not good feedback. So
It's being touted
No.
as the worst movie ever made.
yeah,
So
it's not good feedback. It's
I
bad.
might have to watch it this weekend. We'll see.
Listen, hey, there are people who just go out of their way to try and find and watch the worst movies ever made. So maybe it finds a home. Maybe it does have an audience. I don't know. Time will tell.
Time will tell. All right, what else we got, dude?
all right, so yeah, bear with me on this one because I saw this story and the time it took and probably the level of autism it took to put this together astounded me. But there was a person who did a deep dive, and it was an article on Screen Rant into the world of Pokemon and specifically the animated series. And what they did was they actually looked up how many unique Pokemon that Ash caught throughout the series.
Mhm.
And determined that Ash only caught 7% of the total available Pokemon.
Question.
So it raises the debate. Oh, God. Question. Proceed.
Question.
7% of the 151 from the episodes I saw him in, or what was there? Did the anime go beyond that?
The anime eventually does go beyond that a
Okay.
little bit. So you're getting ones that were introduced that weren't in like the red blue game.
So this is
And is this
7%.
on-screen catches?
This is like correct. On screen catches. We're talking
Okay.
about recorded catches.
Verified.
These are audited and verified catches.
Okay, but so it's 7% of what the total
The total
Pokemon
available Pokemon.
from
correct.
from the sets that the anime existed in with Ash.
That is my understanding
Okay.
of how he got his numbers.
Okay, all right.
So, if you do include the evolutions of his Pokemon,
Mhm.
as well as some that he held temporarily but didn't catch himself, that gets him to around 12%.
Damn. All right.
But the question now becomes, is Ash Ketchum the most overrated Pokemaster of all time?
Yeah, but it sure as shit ain't Gary, because Gary's a bitch.
Yeah, well, it ain't Gary. Gary's not even in the equation. We're just talking
Okay.
about if the goal is to catch them all, which the theme song would lead you to believe that is the goal.
Yeah, definitely.
How does Ash stack up here as a Pokemaster?
You know, I think he's really just more so a medium for life lessons more than the greatest Pokemaster of all
Correct.
time.
Correct.
You know?
How do you weigh the greatest Pokemaster of all time? Is it directly correlated to the amount of Pokemon you catch? Or is it about the impact that you create?
That's the
Damn.
debate. Yeah, that's the debate.
Do you know who Lee is in Naruto? Anyone?
I'm not a
Is he the one that
Naruto
wears the
watcher, but I
green-
know who
is
he is.
the green guy? He wears
He
the
is the green guy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do.
I don't think he had any special ninja powers, but the guy was badass. And there's a freaking amazing scene where he's battling one of the most badass ninjas, one of the most badass ninjas. And all he can do is karate chop, leg kick this other guy, Lee. And he looks at his master, and his master goes, "All right, it's time." And spoiler alert for those out there. And Lee goes, "Are you sure? You told me never to do this." And he goes, "It's time, do it." And Lee takes off he's like on a big statue in this warehouse, and he takes off these leg weights, these little leg weights, and he drops them off this statue, and everyone's like, "What's that gonna do? What's that gonna do?" And you see these little leg weights smash the ground and just explode the whole ground, like as if they were 1,000 pounds or something. So it's not always about the best ninja having the best ninja skills. It's like, how badass are you? What's the impact you got? Are you good to your friends? Are you good to people?
I watched.
So I don't think it's. Go ahead.
I watched a great short the other day that said that he's the best character in the whole show by a mile,
Love him,
and
dude.
that Naruto is just kind of a bitch.
Naruto.
He doesn't have the like his arcs are not nearly as good. Like his story is not nearly as good every arc. That was the argument.
He's the Gary of Naruto.
So
Naruto's the Gary of Naruto. He's kind of a bitch.
that's crazy.
I don't know if I'm more pissed that you're saying Naruto or who the heck is Gary.
Gary's the
Gary's
antagonist
rival
of Pokemon.
Master. Yeah.
Oh,
He's the
yeah,
cousin or whatever. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I agree completely on the Lee situation because that exact thing was paralleled in Dragon Ball. Krillin is not a Saiyan. Krillin's just a normal dude. And he was badass and he figured out all of these things, all these powers, always rocked with everybody. But he's just a guy. He's the only one. Everyone else was not just a guy. They all had special shit. But Krillin,
I do feel like he got beat up a lot though, Krillin. Did he not? He usually caught a beating at every one of those battles.
he either caught a beat or he got killed. It was one or the other.
He got killed a lot too.
They had to bring
Just
his ass back. Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah.
That's why he got the Dragon Balls,
a
dude.
a lot of Dragon Balls went Krillin's way.
Yeah. You get
I
one
didn't even
wish.
know-
Gotta bring them back.
Is that what Dragon Balls are?
You have
get
to
a
collect
wish.
them all, and then you got the dragon of each planet has a set of Dragon Balls. If you collect them
Okay.
all for that planet, then the dragon, like the unique dragon to that planet, grants you a wish.
Yeah.
Just one wish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
You could like your wish could be to like restore multiple people killed by somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
So like if Thanos snapped away everybody, you could wish the people back that he snapped away.
no one just wished for more wishes.
They did. They tried. I think they
Did it work?
tried. He said no.
That's not how it works, dude.
Yeah. But he said in some like, these are gigantic, like, 27-foot crustaceans from the Paleolithic era. You feel me?
That's interesting. I thought there was only like 5 Dragon Balls in the universe, but I guess it's
There's
for
multiple
everything.
sets.
I think there's multiple sets.
And
Right, that
unlike
are on different
Pokemon,
planets.
you do have to collect them all.
You
to make
do
it
have to collect them
possible.
all. Yeah, you
On
can't
that
just get 7%, Ash. Come on.
On the planet, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Ash is the greatest Pokemaster of all time because he's the one they made the show after. There was obviously a reason why they picked him and not anyone else.
It's
Well,
like
they
a
picked
legacy
him.
thing.
They
His
didn't really
impact on the
pick
game.
him. Professor Oak picked his mom, and then he just happened to be there. I'm just saying. He was like,
saying
"Hey,
the
boss.
The show picked Ash.
Hey,
The
boss.
show made
Me and your
Ash.
mom. We got a cool thing going on. You're kind of in the way. So how about you get the out of here, bro, and you go catch them Pokemans." That was it. I'm just saying.
He's got a point. He does have a point.
Yeah, Professor Oak. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all. But he's definitely not going to catch them all. He's 7%
No,
in,
he's,
dude.
he's way behind. He's
No
way
way.
late in his career. You start slowing down.
Wait,
You're
you
not gonna-
can't catch them all. There's only hold on. So might be a big stupid moment for Pokemon for me. Again, I'm not informed on Pokemon. Doesn't only one of them exist of
No.
each? Like there's only one Pikachu?
No, there's
Tons.
a bunch of different ones. Yeah.
So how
there's
come
a
I only
bunch of
saw one
duplicates.
Pikachu?
He's more rare.
Well, you just saw that particular Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw another one now.
More rare. There were others.
Rare.
There was somebody else who he fought in a gym that had a Raichu already. Maybe it's Mystic. No, it wasn't Mystic. It was somebody.
No, it was it's like Lieutenant something.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
lieutenant- He's like
yeah, yeah.
Lieutenant Thunderstorm. Or
Yeah, yeah.
something.
Thunderclap. Lieutenant Booty
Yeah.
Clap.
Did he shoot Pikachu up with like some blockers so that he
Nah,
never
dude,
evolved?
he treated Pikachu really well. That's what we're saying. Like that was his impact on the game.
But he never evolved.
He chose not to.
correct. Chose not to.
Pikachu
that's not
chose
what
not to
Pikachu
evolve, or Ash did. How do
Together
you do
they
that?
chose. If I
Yeah.
remember the episode correctly.
That is
Really?
correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah.
Oh, that's
There's
nice.
a big emotional moment. Yeah, Lieutenant Surge. That's it.
Wow.
Instead of
Shout out the
search,
chat.
there you go.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's, dude. What
'Cause
a
he came
warm
up,
moment.
and then
That's very
as
funny.
Pikachu, he had to battle and beat the evolved version, which was a big deal because it's like obviously less powerful. It was like this big defining crowning moment for Pikachu.
But it's kind of like the bond between Pikachu and Ash was stronger than the evolution,
You know, and
if I remember correctly.
yeah, that's right. And as it turns out, man, that matters a lot more than catching them all. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
There we go. Full circle moment right there.
Shout out Ash. That's a real one. That's a cool hat too.
Don't let the haters keep you down, Ash. You're a great.
And
Pokemon
shout out
master.
T-Man because they both rock them fingerless gloves, baby.
Guys, I mean, dude, I think that was the moment. I know you got a couple more things, but I
Yeah,
think
we could punt them.
what a warm moment.
Yeah,
We
that's
talked
nice.
about a little anime, dude.
Mm.
I should probably check out Dragon Ball Z.
It's, dude,
I never gave it a shot.
you should need to start in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to start from the beginning.
Start in Dragon Ball.
Great after school show for me growing up.
Yes, it was always on before I had mixed martial arts, and I was just, dude, that's how you get hyped up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. Does it get emotional though, or is
Oh,
it just
yeah.
all aggression?
Lots of it.
All
Also,
right.
wait, Mark, have you ever tried to go Super Saiyan as a kid? When you were a kid, did you ever
Dude,
try? I
I'm
tried
over
it
there
multiple
like
times.
just trying to get a little energy. When they did the arc with the normal, like the humans, no spoilers, trying to, yeah, bin. Don't get it twisted. I got a little something. I felt a little something, Abe. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a little tingle. Still do, actually.
Okay.
All right.
All right, dude. You got anything exciting coming up this weekend?
Every day, bro.
Every day, bro. It's every day, bro.
Every day, bro. There's a big patch actually for Dungeon Born tomorrow that I'm really excited about. New game mode, all kinds of crazy shit. So very exciting. We also have a really fun game plan for Friday. Going to be teaming up with our friend Nazori and diving into the dungeons together. Definitely tune in for that. Twitch.tv/Markstrom.
Okay. A little Nazori gameplay. Abe, how about you, dude? What do you got?
I'll be there moderating. My moderation skills have been called into question a couple times recently. I don't really appreciate that. I feel like I've stepped up when the time is called. Just like Ash doesn't need to catch them all, I don't need to ban them all. But I feel like it's been getting questioned lately. But I will be there moderating, doing my best, having fun, enjoying. I'm excited for the Dungeon Born patch too. I might dive in a little bit myself.
Hell yeah.
And that's all over at twitch.tv/Markstrom.
Wonderful. Abe, I just want to give you a shout out for getting back into the gym. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I know it's probably annoying to work out when you haven't worked out for a while.
Yeah, my body wasn't ready. But
it
you
never
gotta
is
fight through the pain.
Nope.
True.
But just stick with it, dude. It's the best thing you can do for yourself, man. Just stay healthy. So good job, and I want to keep hearing about it. And for you guys listening, if you ain't in the gym and you're not like broken, then get in the gym because it's good for you. I want to give a shout out to the people that were listening. Thank you guys. I know you guys come here every week, so we really appreciate it because we do this podcast every week, unless Markstrom has a baby or Abe goes on vacation.
True.
And we have a really fun time doing it. So would you kindly subscribe on YouTube, Plug Podcast.
Subscribe.
If you're a Spotify listener, which you could be because we are up to date on Spotify, give it a follow, give it a share. Share this YouTube page with your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your fish, or your dog. Because if they subscribe and they follow, they might see it on their timeline and they might click in and they might hear us talking about Pokemon and be like, wow, that brings me back. I like these guys. So would you kindly follow and subscribe? We have a great time doing this podcast and we want to bring it to as many people as we can. So this has been another wonderful episode of the Plugged Podcast, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Deuces.